Hello, my name is Melody. I am a student here at Biochemical Technology at the LISD Tech Center. Today my classmates and I are going to teach you about testing for water quality. Testing for water quality, what does that mean? Good question. Water quality testing is an easy way to gain insight into the quantity of chemicals in the water and the overall quality of your water. Basically, these tests tell you how good, great, or downright gross the water is that you use every day for cooking, drinking, and brushing your teeth. Today, we are going to test for phosphate, nitrate, chlorine, and iron in different types of water. With the knowledge you have now of these chemicals, even if you don't know anything at all, let's make some predictions about what you think is going to happen. Pull out your water quality testing lab sheet and work with your class on what you guys hypothesize is going to happen.
Hi, I'm Sydney, and let's jump into testing, and we will talk more about nitrate in a few minutes. Step number 1, pull out your 1 tube, or if your class is doing this activity with us, then pull out 4 tubes. Step number 2, fill your tubes with your desired type of water using the disposable pipette provided in the kit. City water, puddle water, pond water, or purified drinking fountain water, whatever works. Fill up your tube to the 5 milliliter line with your choice of water. Step number 3, add 1 nitrate number 1 test tab to your tube. Check the back of the tablet's packet to make sure you have the number 1 test tab, as the nitrate tests have 2 different tabs used for nitrate testing. Step number 4, cap the tube and mix it until the tablet has disintegrated. Step number 5, pull out your piece of foil and wrap it around the tube. We do this because this portion of the test is light sensitive, so we do not want any light sneaking through. Step number 6, now add 1 nitrate number 2 test tab to your cap and shake the tube, and for 2 minutes. Make sure you keep the foil around the tube to keep it dark inside. Step number 7, okay, now we have to wait 5 minutes while we let the test do its thing. Until then, Jill is going to tell us about nitrate.
Hi, my name's Jillian. Why do we test for nitrate? Well, the presence of nitrate in water indicates contamination from fertilizer or manure from fields or sewage. Gross, right? Well, it gets even worse. Not only does nitrate come from some pretty nasty sources, but once consumed through contaminated water, nitrate can bind to hemoglobin in the blood, which can stop oxygen from being supplied to the body. That is bad, very bad, as a lack of oxygen can cause organ damage or some serious health complications. Nitrate-contaminated water is especially scary for babies, as it can lead to serious medical emergency known as blue baby syndrome. Blue baby syndrome is so serious that it can lead to extreme illness or death of the infants. On that note, let's go check out our results.
Step number 8, remove the test tube from the protective sleeve. Step number 9, now compare your test tube's color to the nitrate color chart. Your teacher should have this sheet. If it's any sort of pink, no matter how light, it means nitrate is closest to. These tests are measured in parts per million, or ppm. Parts per million tells you how many parts or particles of the test water are nitrate in a volume of water that contains a million different particles. I like to think of it in a scenario of Halloween candy. You look at all your pieces of candy, and let's say you have 1,000,000, and look to see how many pieces are Kit Kats. If there are 20 Kit Kats, then it would be 20 ppm. If there are 40 Kit Kats, then it would be 40 ppm. Get it? Maybe. Okay, enough with candy. Look at your sample. Is it closest to 0 ppm, 5, 20, or 40 ppm? We like to see water around 3 ppm, and definitely no more than 10. Now on to disposing of your tests. Record your results on the second table on the water quality testing lab sheet, and record the results from the other water samples in your class too. After you are finished looking at your results, the liquid in your test tubes can be poured down the sink, and the tubes, pipette, and test tab wrappers can be thrown in the trash. Alrighty, now it's time to dive into our next water quality test.
Hey, it's Jillian again. We're going to go right into testing phosphate and talk about what phosphate is and why we test for it when you're waiting for our test tabs to react with the water. To begin, you're going to need another tube, some more of your water sample, and 1 phosphorus test tab. Step 1. Fill your new tube with a 5 milliliter line with the water sample using a new disposable pipette. Step 2. Add in your phosphorus test tab. Step 3. Cap the mixture and shake until the tablet has disintegrated. Step 4. Now back to the waiting game. We're going to set the tube down and wait for 5 minutes for the test color to change. Ethan is going to tell us about phosphate.
Hello, I'm Ethan. Phosphate is a mineral that may be present in water due to fertilizer contamination. Fertilization contamination can come from runoff of farm, fields, gardens, or people who fertilize their lawn so they have thick green grass. Phosphate is not harmful to the health of people, however, it could fertilize the water. Fertilize the water? What does that mean? Another great question. While phosphate may not fertilize the actual water, it will fertilize the plants living within the water, including algae. The fertilizer will make the algae grow so rapidly that it will cover a large area of water, blocking sunlight and depleting oxygen from the water, which can lead to killing fish and other organisms living in the water. Kind of scary, right? Well, let's have a look at our test and see where our water samples match up.
All right, for step 5, compare the color of your test tube to the phosphate color chart. If there is any shade of blue color in your test tube, then that means phosphate is present. We like to see phosphate levels be below 1 ppm. Does your test tube have a higher or lower concentration than 1 ppm? Record your results on the second table on your water quality testing lab sheet, this time under the phosphate column. Also record the results from the other water samples in your class too. Phosphate is also measured in parts per million, so the number you write should be followed by ppm. Step 6. When you're done with your sample, you can pour the liquid contents down the sink, throw away the tube, pipette, and scraps, and get ready for our next water testing. Ethan is going to take my spot in explaining our next test to you.
2 tests down, 2 to go. We are on to iron testing now. I am sure you can guess it, but I will say it anyways. To begin this test, you are going to need another tube, some more of your water samples, and 1 total iron test tab. Step 1. Fill your tube to the 5 milliliter line with your water sample using a new disposable pipette. Step 2. Add 1 total iron test tab. Step 3. Cap the tube and shake until the tablet has disintegrated. Step 4. Now it's back to waiting. 5 minutes on the clock. Let's go talk about iron with Sydney.
Hi, it's Sydney again. Iron is present in most natural waters and is an essential nutrient to many organisms, including humans. Soil and rocks provide the most common sources of iron in water through natural erosion processes, but industrial waste, as in waste from large factories, laboratories, or power plants, can cause elevated levels of water and iron in the surrounding environment. Iron is not dangerous to human health, but can lead to orange stains in bathroom fixtures, in clothes, wash put through the laundry, and in some situations, iron can even begin to deposit in your hair, turning your hair an orange color. High concentrations of iron can be visually seen in drinking water when the water is tinted orange. It also can cause drinking water to have a distinct metallic taste, which most people find undesirable.
Ethan again. Step 5. Compare the color of your test tube to the iron color chart. If there is iron present, your test tube will appear a shade of orange. Iron levels above 0.3 ppm can cause some serious staining problems. So looking at your sample, we are looking for the color to be closer to the 0 ppm on the color chart than the 1 ppm color chart. Record your results on the second table on your water quality testing lab sheet, this time under the iron column. Also, record the results from the other water samples in your class 2. Iron is also measured in parts per million, so the number you write should be followed by ppm. Step 6. Alright, you know the drill. Pour the liquid down the sink and dispose of your trash. And let's get to our last test. Jillian is going to talk about our next test, so hold on tight. Only 1 test left.
Hey, Jillian again. As soon as you walk into a pool, you smell it. But did you know it's also in your drinking water? Both pools and water supply companies use it for disinfection and sterilization. Can you guess what it is? Chlorine. For the last test, we don't have a waiting period, so let's cannonball right into information about chlorine. Chlorine is not naturally occurring, and it's only found as a result of humans putting chlorine in the water supplies. Chlorine is often used in water treatment to kill bacteria. In pools, chlorine levels are kept at about 1 to 3 ppm, while drinking water levels are maintained at 0.5 ppm. Chlorine is not harmful to human health in small amounts, but if chlorine rises above 6 ppm, it can become extremely unsafe and fatal to fish and aquatic life. If there's chlorine in your water sample, you'll see a shade of pink. Andra is going to take us through chlorine testing, so let's get started.
Hello, my name's Andra. Step number 1, fill your tube to the 5 milliliter line with your water sample using a new disposable pipette. Step number 2, add 1 chlorine DPD number 4R test tab. Step number 3, cap the tube and shake until the tablet has disintegrated. Step number 4, compare your sample to the chlorine color chart. Is your sample above, within, or below 0.3 ppm? Don't forget to record your results in your water quality testing lab chart and your classmates' results as well. Noah is going to wrap up our time together today and give you some final guidance on your worksheet. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Noah. After you have completely filled out your second table, dispose of your supplies and look at the end. Discussion questions. Work on these questions with your class and see if you can remember which chemical is being described for each question. We enjoyed showing you a little activity we do in our lab. Water quality testing is very important as it gives a general idea of the quality of water we use daily. Poor quality does not only affect humans, but as we discussed, poor quality water can have a large impact on our environment. Water is important and essential to all life, so monitoring the chemicals in our tap water, in ponds, and our rivers is a way that we can be aware of where our water quality stands and work to be conscientious about chemicals we put into the water throughout our environment. It is also important that we are aware of what we are putting into our bodies with the water we consume to ensure it does not lead to any dangerous health effects. Bye!